Melvin Wine, Sally Will You Marry Me, in the key of G. Let's think about this A part. I'll play just the A part. So this part breaks down into 4 nice phrases. The first 3 phrases start the same way. The first and the third phrase are the same. And I think what's neat about this A part is that the 4th phrase, it does resolve, but it's got 2 extra beats on the end. So that's going to be what makes this tune crooked. Here's the first phrase. Play that one more time. So we're going to start here on the E string, and even though we're in the first phrase, it really does break down into 2 smaller phrases. So here is that first half of the first phrase. We're going to walk up to our 2nd finger, and then we're going to hop up to our 4th finger and then down to the open E. And then those are our last little notes right there. So here it is from the top. Let's take it from just the pinky a couple of times. Pinky down to the open E. One more time. All right, from the top of the tune, one more time. And then the second half here, we're just going to be rocking back and forth between our 1st and our 3rd finger on the A string. A couple more times. And I'm doing a bit of a shuffle bow there. I'm starting with 2 notes on a down bow slur, 2 separate, and then an up bow slur. So let's take it from the top of the tune. Here we go. And then our 2nd phrase is going to start the same way. And then this is the bit that's going to be different from the first part. If you don't want to use your pinky right there, just hop on up to the E string. So what I'm doing is I'm sliding that pinky into that unison E. And then I'm just going to play the A string, and then I'm going to pick that E string back up. Gives it just a little bit of dimension there instead of where you're just shuffling with your bow on both the A and the E string the whole time. Again, so full double stop, just the A string, and then back to the whole double stop again. I do that a lot in my fiddling. So here is the 2nd phrase all tied together. One more time. All right, our 3rd phrase is going to be the same as the first, so let's review that. right, here's the fourth phrase. I'll play it for you a couple of times. One more. So it's going to start with that same little walk up, but then we're going to go. So going from the open E up to our third finger. And those last four notes. One more time, just that. This next bit, I'm going to go down to my first finger on the A string and then straight up to my pinky, like a first finger to fourth finger hammer on there, a B note up to an E note. It's just shuffling on the E's there. And then the last bit in this fourth phrase. Make sure we have that open D on the end there. It's just I've got my left hand in a G double stop right here. All right, let's tie together this fourth phrase here. Let's do it 2 more times. Tricky little spot. Go through and have a little review of this A part. So here was our first phrase. Our second phrase. Third phrase is the exact same as the first. And our fourth phrase that wraps around. Let's loop this A part a couple of times. It's really just one A part, so we'll play it again here. Here we go. Let's tackle this B part. I'll play it a couple of times. I relate to this B part in that there is your first B part, a little connector phrase, and then your second B part. And you don't play that connector phrase whenever you're going back into the A part. So this is what I think of as the first B part. Our connector phrase. Our second B part, which is the same as the first one. All right, so for both the first and the second B part, minus that connector phrase, they break down into 4 nice phrases. The first and the third phrase are the same. So Here's the first phrase for the B part. Play that again. So I am going to start, and I'm just going to be heavy on this kind of just G shape in the middle right here. My first finger for a B note on the A string, and then my third finger reaching across over here for a G note on the D string. Let's do that one more time. I'm going down to the open G string. There we go. So here's the that next little bit. Let's do that 2 more times. So putting those 2 phrases together, we're all just kind of hanging out down here on these G notes. Let's do that one last time. All right, into the to the second phrase here for the B part. It's very, very similar to the end of the A part. The only thing that's different to me, and this is something that I really hear strongly in the Melvin Wine recording, is that instead of just hanging on those E's, he's dipping down and he's going down to a D note in there. So we've got this hammer on. I've got my bow on both the A string and the E string, and I'm going from my first finger, a B note, all the way up to an E note, which is a stark hammer on. I'm going to come over here and play this D note, and it's just the same as the end of the A part from there. One more time. And honestly, I'm somewhere in between a D or like an E flat kind of right in there. So our third phrase is going to be the exact same as the first phrase. And then we just have a little wraparound resolve here at the end, starting on the open A. Let's do that 2 more times. Open A. One more. All right, let's tie together this first B part. So we've got our first phrase. Our hammer on second phrase. Third phrase is same as the first. And our resolve. All right, let's play through this first A part. And the little connector bit that's in there is literally, it's just that little bit. And if you think of it as a standalone thing, you'll keep your routing good for the flow of these B parts here. I'll play it one more time. So I've still got my left hand right in that G double stop shape, and this time I've got my bow on the D and the A string, and I've got my first finger lifted down here. I'm hovering. So at first I'm going to be playing a G note, that third finger on the D string, and an open A. And I know that sounds dissonant, but as soon as you throw that first finger down, it really corrects itself. Just a little back and forth. Let's tie together the first phrase and that little connector bit for the B part. Here we go. both B parts now. So it goes B part, connector bit, a whole other B part, back into the A part. Let's try it. We go back into our A. Let's do it whole thing one more time, this B part. For a play along.